Have you been looking for an extremely visual slow motion deck vanish? This is one of the most insane gimmicks I've ever seen, and there is no elastic involved. This is Evaporate by Ferris and Alakazam Magic, and today I'm doing a review of this product. Here, as I go through the cards, could you just take out any one?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Show the camera.
This one?
And
yeah.
you know what it is, right?
Yeah, sure. I know. Yeah.
Don't tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll take the card back.
Okay.
And I don't want to see it, but I'm going to take it and place it in my pocket. Now, would it be good if I made it jump to the top of the deck? Would that be good?
Yeah.
What if I made it disappear completely? And when I say disappear, I mean the deck. Here, watch the deck. If I shake it, slowly disappears until we're left with just your card. Was that
Wow.
it? And now the deck is now in my
Wow, what's
pocket.
happened? Wow, it's amazing.
If you want to see what the spectators had to say about this trick, stick around till the end of the video, because I did a quick interview with them and they said what they thought about this trick. What do you get when you buy Evaporate? When you purchase Evaporate from Alakazam UK or Alakazam USA, you get this nice sturdy envelope packaging. And inside you get the link to the tutorial and your Evaporate gimmick. Now, what is the quality of the gimmick? This is one of the craziest gimmicks that I've ever seen or used. It's so incredibly creative, but it's also practical. It's like a James Bond style device. It's super well made, and there's no elastic or rough and smooth or anything that will break mid-performance. And that's one issue I've had with some other deck vanishes. They can break mid-performance. Now, this is made of cards and another material, so it should last a while. However, it could wear out with time, with extended use, of course. It comes in either red or blue bicycle back design and is super well made. It's precision made gimmick. It's handmade. And it is a little bit thicker than a card. It's about maybe 2 or 3 cards thick. And the thickness should not be noticeable as long as you're not super up close to the spectators. And a great thing about this gimmick is that the gimmick allows you to make the deck vanish in slow-mo and appear in slow-mo. And the thing that allows it to do it in slow motion is the same thing that gives the deck a look of more texture. It looks like it has more texture and depth compared to most vanishing deck gimmicks. The gimmick also has a locking mechanism built into it, which is great. And that lets you throw it in the air and catch it to show it's just one card. And the locking mechanism, while it is great, it can make a little bit of noise if you're performing Evaporate in a really quiet environment, like a library or something like that where no one's talking. Now, if you talk over the gimmick, it shouldn't make as much noise, and the noise isn't something that's going to be extremely noticeable, but I just wanted to mention that. The gimmick also allows you, again, to do the insanely slow-mo deck appearance and a deck through box and some other things which are taught in the tutorial, which we will cover shortly. It's ridiculously visual. Now, how is the tutorial? The tutorial's really good. Ferris is in the Alakazam studio, and he will show you multiple handlings of the deck vanish, including an instant vanish and, of course, the slow-mo vanish. He teaches you a visual, ambitious rising card routine and a routine involving writing on the side of a deck changing. The tutorial has multiple angles and is almost an hour long. He also teaches the deck through box routine, which is a bit similar to Case or Reboxed, I think, by Mark Mason. I could be wrong though. And it's a quite thorough tutorial. Is this a social media or a real life effect? This is super visual, so it could work well for both social media and real life magic. It's also super fun to do. It's super fun to do in real life because if you're doing this online, people are just going to say it's editing. But if you show this to them in real life, it looks like real life CGI. It's that visual. Now, what are the angles like with this? The angles with this are definitely not perfect. To get the best reaction, this should be performed straight on. However, if they're on your left side, if they're on your left side, the angles are quite good. Where the angles get a little sensitive are on the right side. So here is fine, but the second you get a little bit here, that is where the angles get sensitive. So to combat that, I like to turn the deck or rotate it to the right a little bit. So, and again, it's unlikely the spectators will notice this, but I just wanted to bring it up. If the spectators are super duper close up and staring at that deck and burning it, especially if they're magicians, there are some discrepancies that they could possibly notice. But as long as you're maybe like 1 or 2 feet away from the audience, they will not notice that. Is this examinable? The card at the end of the routine is not examinable without a switch, which might be a little bit of an issue if you perform on handsy spectators. However, if you give the cards a place to go, like teleport them to your pocket, and then you take the cards out of the pocket, then the heat is on the deck of cards, not on the card in your hand. And the deck of cards can be examined, and while they're examining the deck, feel free to do a switch of the gimmick and then say, oh, do you want to check out your card as well? Now, one issue that I had with this, and this is the case with most deck vanishes, is if you're performing this walk around or something like that, you can't have the card signed, first of all. That's not an extremely big issue, but if you're doing this vanish, it's the same card every time that the spectators choose. Again, this isn't a big issue, but if the spectators are different tables are conversing and talking about, oh, he made all the cards disappear except my card, the King of Spades, then they may be like, oh, I also chose the King of Spades. Again, it's unlikely that this will happen, especially if you do other card routines where spectators select cards. Then the card that was left over at the end of Evaporate, they'll just forget about it. But I just wanted to mention that again. Let's talk about the difficulty and practicality of this effect. As for difficulty, this is not too hard to do at all. It depends on the handling you're doing, of course. There is a bit of a knack to get the slow-mo vanish down, but with a bit of practice with holding the deck in the right position, you should be able to get this down. This is also very practical. It works well for table hopping and close-up magic. Is there any DIY required? No, there's no DIY required. This comes ready to go right out of the box. Pocket space. All you have to carry around is, if you already carry around a red bicycle deck or a blue bicycle deck, whichever your gimmick, whichever color you order your gimmick in, you can store the gimmick inside the deck of cards or in the cellophane. I personally store it inside the deck of cards because the compression from the deck, the constant pressure makes sure the gimmick stays flat. If you have this, you know what I mean. Also, what is the reset like? This trick resets instantly so you can repeat it over and over again. What is the price? Evaporate by Henry Ferris and Alakazam costs $40 US. Is it worth the price? I think the gimmick is so well made and it's a crazy gimmick. So it is totally worth the price. This is the same price as the Ultimate Vanishing deck by Magic World, which I will also review shortly. But yeah, for what this is, this could have costed more. I'd say this could have even they could have charged maybe $50, $55 because the gimmick is so crazy. It's so well made that it's totally worth the price. Pick this up if you haven't already. Now, what are the pros and cons of Evaporate? First off, let's talk about the pros. The pros are that this is super visual. It's super slow motion. Like, they see card by card, the deck is disappearing in your hand. Most deck vanishes are instant. Like, it's there, then it's all gone. But this is slow motion. Now, some people may prefer the instant deck vanishes, but I personally prefer the visual look of this. This is also very easy to learn. The gimmick is great. The slow-mo deck vanish and the slow-mo appearance look very realistic. There's no elastic or rough and smooth or something that could snap or break mid-performance. And that's one issue that I've had with different vanishing deck gimmick, which I actually reviewed on the channel, Vanish by Justin Miller. That broke a couple times mid-performance. And this will not break mid-performance. It could wear out over time, but it shouldn't break mid-performance. Also, the deck actually looks like it has depth compared to other deck vanish gimmicks. Other deck vanish gimmicks kind of look like what they are. Some of them look realistic, but I'd say Evaporate is definitely one of the most realistic looking decks that will vanish. Also, the tutorial's good, and Henry is really so creative. This resets instantly as well, and not much pocket space is required. As for the cons with this, the first con I had with this is the angles. The angles aren't as good as some other deck vanishes. You will want to perform, you won't want people on your right side. You can have people straight on and all the way to your left side, but you won't really want people on your right. Also, the gimmick can make a little bit of noise when you're getting it to lock, and the gimmick is not examinable without a switch. Again, not a major con because the heat isn't on that card as long as you produce the deck from somewhere else. And also, the gimmick, if a certain part hits another component, it can get temporarily caught. But even if it does get temporarily caught mid-performance, with just a quick adjustment that takes less than a second, then it'll get unstuck.
I think this magic is also amazing and very unbelievable. Yeah, because he got my card at the same time he disappeared other cards in his like hands. Yeah, it's very different magic and it's very unbelievable. I think it's very good. Yeah.
What percent am I giving this? I'm giving Evaporate a 94%. I really enjoy this trick. I really enjoy the gimmick. I hope you enjoyed this review. And I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.